Good morning, pirates. Calendar week 46. How to do more stuff than you ever thought possible. This week has been another one of those pretty mentally untaxing ones full of repetitive menial work, or in other words, bliss. I've come to learn that I'm especially disposed towards chopping wood, raking leaves and wheelbarrowing large piles of things from one part of the barracks to another, which is handy around this time of year. It's weeks like these, though, where it can feel like time has passed, but not much has actually got done. There are still some leaves and there's still a lot of wood, and I don't have any particular successes to report. I did have an idea, though. There've really only ever been 3 places where unbidden ideas get flowing. Inspiration, you might say. One is when sat atop my bike, grinding out the miles, or around here, the altitude. The second is on buses, specifically buses. Usually the top deck, but bendy buses work too. Trains, trams and cars don't work. Neither do long-distance coaches. I find all of them peaceful and interesting, but the muse goes by city bus. Cafes, especially theatre cafes for some unknown reason, are pretty good for doing the actual work. I write well in all of them, but not so much for new thoughts. Thirdly, working in the garden. There's a degree of free association which comes from being in contact with the elements, I think. It's not worth trying to chase where the ideas come from, but I do think that just as dreams are the mind processing the actions of the day and creating neural pathways that crisscross and tangle, creating new images, so the free fall of weird moments through the rustling of the leaves and the pulling of the rake might be the reverse. The brain's untangling of its chaotic pictures and the resulting creation of moments and reference. This Instagram post is what my brain pulled out of nowhere to free associate with this week. If you're listening to this through the audio narration or YouTube, or someone is reading it to you, hi mum, hi dad, the Instagram post has a Superman-looking professional strongman failing to lift a rather large and cumbersome rock above his head, and the Clark Kent farmer's boy neighbour succeeding with the same lift. The strongman off camera is delighted and says, "That's class, mate." It's a really nice 10 seconds of film, and everyone loves the underdog, right? So how did he pull off the impressive lift? The strongman's Insta is full of world records. He is impressively strong, and he celebrates with the rest of us. But it did get me thinking on the nature of work. The power lifter is always in control of his lifts. He trains hard, measures his progress, eats well, and records his macros. This is a dedicated and rigorous life, and well done him. We can imagine him getting up in the morning with a plan and with goals, and then working his butt off to achieve them. He's spent a significant amount of time improving himself, and he always knows what his personal bests are and what his next target is. The farmer chap got strong by doing stuff. We can imagine him working in the forest, clearing trees, and then back on the homestead, hoofing bales of hay around. Where there is a rock that needs moving, it must be moved. There is no mental hurdle that needs to be vaulted. He's not challenging himself against a known quantity and seeking to improve. There is simply a rock in the way, and it needs to be out of the way to do the thing he needs to do. It's an incidental, not a challenge, an obstruction in his road to be moved. No knowledge of the rock itself is required. No state of education or readiness will help him achieve his goal, because the rock is not the goal. There's a pure and unrestricted potential to do incredible things, precisely because it does not exist as a challenge. It can be motivational to know that your next achievement is to bench 250 or shoulder press your own weight, but being hyper-aware of your next landmark is to create a mental block. What your body needs to do becomes restricted by what your brain believes to be possible. I guess I'm saying that if you act mindfully but without intention, with dreams but not goals, if you integrate life's difficulties and challenges as incidentals without focus, clearing them out of the way one at a time, you'll become stronger than you ever thought possible. And one day when you're very old, you can look around and say, "I did that," and for it to be a surprise. This week, I'm going to be doing fences. I went for a walk around the boundaries of the barracks, which I used to do more often than I do now. There are parts of the barracks that I seldom go to, and to experience the whole of the place from time to time is probably more important than I'd lately remembered. Also, I get to see where the old wooden fences are rotting away to nothing. There is a long-term project to re-fence the whole perimeter with animal-proof fence. The deers can still vault it, and the birds are not in any way bothered by the 2 dimensions that trap us mammals. But it is definitely a grand idea not to let the wild boars in. For one, I don't want them getting to the piggies. I can't see that turning out positively for anyone. And for another, they will absolutely eat everything in the potager in one night if they were to find it. Up until now, I think I've done about 350 metres of secondary fencing. That is, I've doubled the wooden fence with the metal stock fence, not replaced it. I've almost exactly 1 kilometre of perimeter, and about 2/3 of that is in wood. So I'm probably about half done. It's been mostly a winter occupation, and done when the mood seizes me. On the walk, though, I found 3 holes, big holes. One of them I was able to fix up pretty much there and then, and the other 2 really must be done this week. The grand plan is then to grow a hedgerow up and through it. So metal fences which will last longer than I will, but hidden by lush and productive bushes. I think that will both be effective and pleasant, and I do like being a bit better hidden from view. Injury of the week. I have a blister the size of my foot on my foot. I want to pop it, but the internet says no, so I'll just leave it for a couple of days. So I'll just limp for a couple of days. I cannot read my own work today. Unbelievable. And this is already late enough. I just popped off to feed the poor swine overlords. They say hi to everyone they know, and they hope to meet the rest of you one day, probably in the spring. Please be mindfully good to all the animals and humans you meet this week. And provided the sun keeps shining and gravity keeps working, I will see you all about the same time next week. Thank you for all being here. Your loving Pirate Ben. XO. XO.